Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is, well, at least on the West Coast right now, it's still Saturday, July 17th, 2021. And again, we have another major Saturday shooting ritual, and a lot of people in America will not understand what I mean when I say ritual, but that's what this is. This is a shooting ritual. Your local authorities, your government, your media, they are all participants in the ongoing mass mind control programming. And again, it's all done by a very simple code. And a lot of people can't wrap their minds around this, even though they lived through September 11th, a national emergency on 911. And go figure, it was the two giant buildings in New York that came crumbling down that day. The same two buildings where construction began the exact same year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. And that was 1968, the year RFK and MLK were assassinated, the year 2001 A Space Odyssey came out. Again, World Trade Center construction, 911, George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. A whole lot more. The New York Jets, that was their only Super Bowl winning season. Again, for 8 years, we have been showing with all sorts of proof and evidence and accurately predicting what will happen next by teaching this very simple code. And today we'll see right through the headlines again. Why on your front page of CNN on July 17th, is there a story about a shooting at a Nationals game right next to a story about a JFK flight to Paris going down in a crash? And for years, they say the authorities thought it was a bomb, but now they're saying it was just some kind of freak accident. But I'm going to bring this all together, just how crystal clear this is and how undeniable it is. This is something I've taught about for 8 years straight. The exact same number pattern every Saturday. There's a reason there's Saturday shooting rituals. It has everything to do with the number 107, which will connect everything from this national shooting to the JFK assassination to this flight to Paris. But, again, you guys, Gematria, the simple practice of coding numbers into words. Shooting equals 107. Saturday equals 107. Today's 107 days after the MLB season began on April Fool's Day. When you use numerology, Washington Nationals is 107. So is John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who's also in the headlines today, his airport. And again, who's doing this? Who's coding the numbers and the words and the dates? It's very simple. It's a very simple answer. It's right in front of your face. Whose calendar are you on? You're on the Catholic Church's calendar. Who's credited with the English language? The Catholic Church. What knowledge did they have after the Crusades? The knowledge of letters and numbers. You know, the language of God according to ancient civilizations, Kabbalah. All this stuff going back to Babylon and Sumer and likely even before that. You know, we only know what we know of history. But again, just the same stuff over and over. And with regards to today being July 17th, 17/7, like 177, remember JFK was assassinated 177 days after his birthday. And then we got the JFK flight in the news. JFK killed in a shooting, body sent back to D.C. right away. Then you got a national shooting. And D.C. was just in the national news for a shooting late last night, you know. That was the appetizer before this bigger story in the national news. And again, 177, that's the number of the Jesuit order. That's the number of the Jesuit order. And where was this JFK plane flying to? Paris, where the Jesuits were created on August 15th, 1534. I mean, this stuff is so easy to see. We were just talking about the Haiti assassination was a major 177 ritual. The Haiti assassination, the president's born on the 177th day of the year and died on the day leaving 177 days left in the year. The Jesuits are known assassins throughout history. Again, that's a documented fact. So again, let's just go over all this. JFK, born May 29th, right? That's the 149th day of the year, the 35th prime. He was the 35th president. Catholic equals 35. When you run the alphabetic order forwards, when you run it in reverse, it's 46. He died at age 46. Joe Biden, the second Catholic president, number 46 in the election 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, inaugurated on the 35th day of the Pope's age, the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. D.C. was once the Catholic colony owned by Francis Pope. Look it up. Historical facts not taught in slave school, because you're not supposed to know anything. You know, it's all mockery. That's why in kindergarten and first grade, there was letters, uppercase, lowercase, with a number next to them, all around the room. all around the room. And probably none of us had a teacher that said, in Hebrew, every letter is a number. In Hebrew, there's this practice of coding numbers into words and matching up words that have relationships and, performing rituals around them, because this is a thing, you guys. It's way older than the nation. This stuff's thousands of years old. It's done every day. And you try to show it to most Americans, they're like, oh, that's stupid. Oh, that's stupid. It's like, okay. This is like watching the movie Idiocracy in real life. That's how it's felt for me ever since I was, even before 9/11, but especially since 9/11. I mean, you had to be an idiot to not see through the lie of 9/11. Just obvious bullshit from your lying government, your lying media, which lies to you every day, and somehow you suck it up. You go to slave school for all of your childhood, you hate it, and you're told every day that you're free. You're free and you need to be there. Like, this isn't making any fucking sense, but nobody's saying shit. And you realize that's the problem with humanity. Nothing makes sense. Nobody says shit. They just march on like they're dumb idiots. But from JFK, from his birthday to his assassination on November 22nd, 177 days. And now we're hearing about the JFK flight tragedy on 17/7. And didn't some planes leave JFK on 9/11? It's all Jesuits, man. It's all Jesuits. Don't forget, the Jesuit Order 177, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, propaganda is 177. And if you look up the history of propaganda, that word was first used by the Catholic Church, who gave us the calendar and the language that's all synced up together. And again, we just talked about the Haiti assassination in 177 just days ago. That just happened. Assassination of a president. This is days ago. Same damn thing. The day leaving 177 days left in the air. And you see how graphic they're making the news? They're saying that when he was found, one of his eyes had been cut out. Like, what? Unless they retracted that. They always put out these details, too, and then they retract them. Like, oh, sorry, that was actually... They just wanted to get the shocking thought out there before they could retract it. The damage was already done. That's what it is. It's just low vibration energy all the time through the media and government. Low vibration, negativity, all by a code every single day. But yeah, here, April Fool's Day, the season began, right? On that day, Brady did his tweet about, something about the Montreal Expos. I guess Brady was drafted by the Expos in 95. But, what ended up being the Stanley Cup this year, Montreal and Tampa Bay. Tampa's been in 4 championships since Brady went down to Tampa. What a joke. He just went down there last year. He went down there in March of 2020. They've been in 4 championships since. 2 in NHL, 1 in NFL, 1 in MLB. Come on. 116th World Series, Tampa, Florida, 116. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., 116. Come on. But yeah, from April Fool's Day to today, the shooting is 107 days, right? John Fitzgerald Kennedy has that Gematria 107. You see that? That's with the alphabetic order and rules numerology. What you're looking at are the 4-base ciphers. If you write out shooting, it has Gematria of 107 with the alphabetic order. JFK died in a shooting. Back when I first started this work, I only knew the 2 ciphers on the left, so I knew about that from the early days of this research. All I knew when I started was the alphabetic order, the cipher in green, A is 1, up to Z is 26, and the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. A is 1, up to Z is 26, but you apply the rules numerology, so the 26 letters, 2 plus 6 is 8, Y the 25th letters, 2 plus 5 is 7, X the 24th letters, 2 plus 4 is 6. But John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK, his name. I misspelled it. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. There's an extra E in there. Whoops. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, there it is, 107. The 233 is an interesting number, too, because that's the 51st prime number. Federal's 51, Rome's 51. Roman symbolism all over D.C., the Roman fasces on the House of Representatives. It's also the 13th Fibonacci number, big number with the secret societies, the Scottish Rite, large and in charge in D.C., the 13 layers of bricks on their House of the Temple, like the 13 layers of bricks on the pyramid, like how on July 13th, the national news was that inflation was up 13% in the last year and the nation of 13 colonies and 13 stripes and 13 years of slave school. USA 41, the 13th prime. But anyway, this 107 thing, notice when I write out shooting, it's 107 with the alphabetic order, it's 109 with the reverse alphabetic order. Look at Saturday. Saturday is 109, 107, right? So you have a shooting on a Saturday, and that's why for years, we've been documenting how they code 107. So often the location, the shooter, the victims. I mean, we've done 100 videos like this over the years on Saturdays. We just like every Saturday we're here, just like snooze fest, another Saturday shooting ritual, another 107. And now 107 days after the MLB season, you get this. And again, it's the Washington Nationals that are the participants. And Washington Nationals is 107. And if you're watching this and saying, well, maybe it's because you're doing the alphabetical order forwards and backwards and the numerology, so it gives you all. No, just stop. No, totally improbable that every weekend it's like this on Saturday. And 107 days after the season began, again, been documenting this pattern and teaching people to look for this pattern so that they can see through the news cycles and the propaganda and understand what's really being done. This stuff is being orchestrated by a code. It's very clear the authorities are into this practice. It's very obvious that they like to mock us with the numbers, do it every day in the headlines. 911 was the biggest mockery of all of our lives until COVID. COVID-19, 19 years after the hijackers on 9/11. You know? The war on terror, now the war on germs. 19 years before the war on terror was the war on drugs in 82. You know, with Ronald Reagan, prototype 1. Donald Trump was Ronald Reagan 2.0, same TV actor type of politician that people like more and see as more authentic. And again, it's just like a bunch of dopes. It's like you can't see through that it's the same shit. He's using the same slogan, another actor. I mean, how fucking dumb are you? Somebody's getting mad right now. Oh, I thought I liked this, but you're going against Trump? Yeah, I am, dumbass. Wake the fuck up. They're all fucking Jesuit puppets. Donald Trump's Jesuit educated. Joe Biden's from Jesuit Scranton. Here, you want to know what's going on in the world? Pull your head out of your ass and read my book. I made it free. And if you don't, it's because you want to remain ignorant and be a fucking loser and keep believing in politicians and the news. Wake the fuck up. This is all bullshit. Donald Trump wasn't a hero. It's amazing how Trump people have in their head right now, man, if Trump was in there, this shit wouldn't be happening. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Trump was in there when this all happened, you fucking idiots. I'm so sick of listening to these politically brain-dead morons. It's like they can only see the other party's wrongdoing. This wouldn't be happening if Trump was in there. It's like, what the fuck? What? Oh, my God. Republicans, when they were campaigning, if Democrats take the White House, the country won't be safe. It's like 9/11 just happened while you guys were the presidency. Bill Clinton was in there for 8 years, and we thought we were all going to start living to 150, and there'd never be a war again. And I'm not saying Clinton was a good guy, another Jesuit pawn. But I'm just saying, it's just politics is so much bullshit, and people just, they continue to believe in one side, you know. But no, this stuff's not a fucking coincidence. Here's how it's not a coincidence. Tell me how you did the year the Nationals won the 115th World Series. Did you have them beating the Astros in Game 7 before the playoffs began? Because we did. We had that laid out on September 27th in a very specific ritual that I've told 1,000 times, so I'm not even going to tell it again. Because I already told it 1,000 times. If you didn't hear it the first fucking 1,000 times, it's because you weren't looking for the truth. But thanks for doing it tonight. Maybe I'll tell it again sometime in the future. But you see how Nationals is 105-33, 138-57? Here's how big of a Jesuit puppet Donald Trump is. When the Nationals won Game 7 of the World Series, they got their 105th win of the season. See, we saw the Nationals were going to win to close out the regular season on September 27th, 28th, and 29th. There was a perfect numerical ritual. It was undeniable. They got their 48th home win over Cleveland. Cleveland's 48. There's a whole lot more to this, too. It was 48-date numerology. The next day had 49-date numerology. Washington got their 49th home win. The next day had 50-date numerology. They got their 50th home win on that day. They made it into the playoffs, and we saw how all this would line up. So then we said, you got to win this many games to win the World Series. Notice if the Nationals get to win the World Series, they'll have 105 wins. Nationals is 105. When was the last time the Nationals were in the World Series? In 33. And what's the thing about 57? Well, we've taught about 57 a million times with the World Series. World Series is 57. And what made it so perfect is when it became Nationals and Astros because of how many games the Astros lost. We didn't see that it was going to line up this way, but it just gave us even more confidence. When the Astros came into the series against the Nationals for the World Series, they had 53 losses in the postseason all time. So we said, bingo, they're going to lose 4 games. Nationals will win, and they'll get their 57th postseason loss all time. Nationals is 57. And with regards to the 138, well, it was synced up with the chump himself. Donald Trump's also 138, like Federal. And the World Series was won exactly 138 days after Donald Trump's June 14th flag birthday. And don't remember, Donald Trump's been synced up with sports so many times. We've been able to call so many sports championships because of Donald Trump. The best ever was Eagles versus Patriots, Super Bowl 52. Trump took on the protesters on September 23rd, 23/9, like 2:39 the 52nd prime, the year of Super Bowl 52, hosted by Minnesota that year, 52. But the flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street. Philly's the home of the flag, the Patriots, the flag on their helmet. We said, watch. The Super Bowl will be Philly and Patriots, and Philadelphia will begin this year 10-1 because Philadelphia is 101 in the most simple cipher, the 26th prime, and flag is 26. And again, Trump took on the flag protesters in the NFL that year, September 23rd, like the flag sewn at 239 Arch Street in Philly. And again, this is what they do because these are all Jesuit puppets on script. Donald Trump's an actor. So are all these other politicians. They're all fucking actors. You know, people just like the way Trump acts more. He's different. Looks like he has a mop on his head. He's painted orange like a clown. He's kind of funny, you know. It's a society of idiots, so that's what they're into. They're like 5-year-olds in adult bodies. Hey, this guy reminds me of my 5th birthday with the clown, you know. I wish it wasn't true. It's fucking all true, man. I wish this was a fictional story. But yeah, it's just always this way, you guys. It's all synced up. By the way, let me write out Donald Trump. You want to see something funny? Donald Trump. You see how it's 159? I challenge you to go look up the box score of the Nationals beating the Astros in Game 7. Challenge you to look that up. You will see that the Nationals threw 159 pitches. 159, right? And then I challenge you to look at also in the NBA that day, Houston, like the Astros, was playing the Washington Wizards, like the Nationals, Washington, Houston, in the NBA, just like on Game 7 of the World Series. We saw this well in advance too, and we said, watch, the Rockets will win that day, the trade-off in the NBA. Houston will beat Washington in the NBA. Washington will win the World Series over Houston. And go look at how many points Houston won the NBA game with. 159, just like the Nationals threw 159 pitches in the game. And this is what we also prove, is just how scripted these games are. And for all of you who think that's not possible, it's because you also think magic's not possible, right? Because you're not trained in it. You're not trained in it. So it seems impossible to you, but it's done every single day. You're mocked every single day this way. Plus, they're using technology to ensure outcomes. But the other thing is, with regards to D.C., it's the land of the Jesuits and the Scottish Rite. And Scottish Rite's got that 159 and 57. World Series got that 57. Astros get the 57th postseason all-time loss. Nationals win the World Series, picking up their 105th win of the season, 138 days after the Chump's birthday, after not being in a World Series since 33. That was also the year that the American League and National League system went in the way it is, and then they're called the Nationals now. That's the new name. You know, tribute to 33 when the leagues... Because if you look at, like, when they talk about World Series measurements and how many the AL's won in the NL, they'll usually measure back to 1933 when they made the leagues the way they still are today. But, yeah, remember when Steve Scalise got shot? It was all the same shit. It was just all bullshit by the numbers. But, yeah, I mean, what makes me sad is just so many people are so dumb that they think what I'm showing is a coincidence or stupid. I mean, the only people who think that are really dumb people, which is most people. And that's why I can be here for 8 years teaching about, you know, things like this, like Saturday and 107 and shooting, and there can be another one at the 107 team in Major League Baseball. And for all of you who, you know, throw out these bullshit theories and say, so maybe any team can equal 107 and you could... All right, let's just try it. Let's just try out Los Angeles Angels. Does Los Angeles Angels equal 107? Could we have done this with the Angels today? Nope. That wouldn't have worked. And by the way, with regards to the Catholic Church being behind all this, who are the Nationals playing today in Jesuit D.C.? They're playing the Padres, right? Which means fathers, you know, Catholic. Of course, the Padres won on Father's Day this year. But wouldn't work with the Los Angeles Angels. What about, like, old teams like Montreal Expos? Couldn't get the 107. You know what's funny about that, though? You could get the 177 with them. It's interesting. But, yeah, I mean, it just... Not every team is going to have the 107 in their name. They're just not. You know, Florida Marlins, They got a 107? Doesn't look like it. What about just Marlins? What about just Florida? Shit, I thought anything could equal anything. What if I type in Trump's hair? Some people just get random. They start writing out. But the point is, just not anything equals anything. These are perfectly planned rituals. That's why they line up like this every day. And you guys, again, with regards to the games being scripted to the point, what was the score of the game in this Jesuit ritual in D.C. with this shooting, for the mass mind control to steer the population? The score was 8-4, right? 8-4. Come on, you guys. 8-4. Jesuit 84. If you read out the Jesuit order, 84. Also 177, like 17/7, right? If you read out the Catholic Church, 84. The leader of the Jesuits is the Superior General. Last year, Adolfo Nicolas died at age 84, the Superior General of the Jesuits, dead at 84. The founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, died 84 days from his birthday. Anthony Fauci, the Jesuit, who's become the face of the changing of the nation because of the pandemic, because of the very Jesuit pandemic. He's been the head of NIH since 84, since 1984, George Orwell's 84, member of the Fabian Society established in 1884. But what nation are we in? Speaking of 1984, here we are. United States of America, 84. This is not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. I don't know what's wrong with people, man. And again, when Adolfo Nicolas died at age 84, I guess here's another coincidence. He died on the day, leaving 225 days left in the year. He died on the day, leaving 225 days left in the year. Does that seem like a coincidence? His name equals 225? And if you go, but what about the 54 and 72? Okay, he's the leader of the Jesuit order. Jesuit order 54 and 72. What do those numbers have to do with the Jesuits? Well, here, let's do 54 first. John Carroll equals 54 in the first, same cipher. Considered the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order of the rules of numerology. And John Carroll established the first Jesuit university at age 54 in January of 1789. And what's the Jesuit logo? It's the sun. What's the calendar we're on? The Gregorian calendar, named after a pope who the Jesuits served, the Catholic Church, the Pope. The sun is their logo. What day does the Catholics worship? Sunday. By the way, Sunday. Look at Sunday. Look at it. 84-21-78, right? Look at Jesuit. 84-21-78. Let's do it again. Sunday. You see the 21-33? Look at Bible. 21-33. Let's go back to Jesuit. You see the 42? How does the New Testament begin? It begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. The 42 generations, right? New Testament in the most pure cipher. 42. What's it called? What's the start of the New Testament called? Matthew. Math is 42, right? See how math's 42 and 66? Also 21 like Bible? 42 and 66, though. Let's type in New Testament again. New Testament, 42-66. Where does the Bible end for Protestant Bibles? That's everyone but the Catholic Bible. It ends with the 66th book. The 66th book. What's the fourth book of the Bible called? Numbers. Why 4? In numerology, 4 represents foundation. When I read the Bible, I feel like the numbers are the foundation. All the verse numbers, so many passages with numbers that you just can't wrap your mind around. Why 153 miraculous? Why 153 fish in the miraculous catch? Is it because Holy Bible has 153? Is it an accident that Jesuit order coded 153 in their name? Is it an accident that 153 is the 17th triangular number and God's 17? And Kabbalah says Kabbalah's Book of Formation says that God created the earth, this world, with numbers, letters, and words. That's why these people do this every day. It's like they're playing God. They are playing God. And so again, just another major Saturday 107 shooting ritual. A lot of them aren't even major. The ones that are major always have the same numbers coded in, but every weekend there's like a Saturday shooting in the national news. This one's going to get more hype because it happened at a ball game. And again, for all of you guys who make videos every year, because you guys see that something's wrong in the world, because there are people in this community who see that something's wrong, and every year they're making a video about how this year they're going to blow up the Super Bowl and kill everybody. You guys, they don't need to do that. It's not to say they couldn't do it, but their propaganda's like this. It's just like confusing. Over the PA, people are telling to stay in the stadium. There's an emergency incident outside. Everyone's confused. No one really saw anything. They heard the noise. They saw the police sirens. Again, a lot of these things. You know what? Just watch the show that Amazon remade during the time of the pandemic called Utopia. Just watch that show if you don't think shit's wrong in this world. That show is a mockery. It's telling us everything that's going on. Billionaires, controlling the news, raising children to be school shooters, doing all sorts of crazy shit. To steer people. All this stuff to steer people. It's just like, what kind of show is this, man? But yeah, you guys, today's 17/7. JFK died 177 days after his birthday. Supposedly died. Did he even really die? Another actor, another script, another story? And for all you young people who are like, what do you mean did he die? Haven't you seen the video? Yeah, again, young people, why don't you do some research on that video? What you'll learn is the original version's so blurry that you couldn't see a fucking thing until the start of the 90s when they remade the video. It was like the re-enhanced version in the 90s. Then all of a sudden you could actually make out some things. That's the one you're always watching today, the re-enhanced version. And imagine what they could have done in those 30 years. It's just, we've been presented lies and bullshit through the media, purposefully manipulated, purposefully deceived for a long time. And yeah, with regards to 1968, the year all that stuff went down, that's also the year the Club of Rome was established. 3 days after MLK's assassination. Remember, MLK was killed April 4th, 68, the 95th day of the leap year, named after Martin Luther, who led the Protestant Reformation. With the 95 Theses, the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses. And that's why they were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church on September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year. See, that's how they've been operating since all that time. That was the date, September 27th, 1540, you guys. We're coming up on the 600-year... Hold on, I can't count. We're coming up on the 500-year anniversary. Coming up on the 500-year anniversary. And right now we're in the Ignatian year. If you didn't know that, the Jesuits have declared an Ignatian year. It's the 500-year anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola being shot in the leg. But the Jesuits, their 500-year anniversary being recognized by Rome will be 1540. Their 500-year anniversary of existence will be August 15th, 1534. And don't forget Donald Trump's brother, the brother nobody had ever heard of before last year, died on August 15th, 2020, on the Jesuit birthday. Trump, who's Jesuit educated at Fordham, his brother died. Go figure. There were a lot of big Jesuit rituals that day, including the Bay Area burned up, named after St. Francis of Assisi, like Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope. So, okay, again, just quick review. Today's 107 days after the MLB season began. Saturdays, again and again, we have shooting rituals with 107 encoded into them. Shooting equals 107, Saturday 107, Washington Nationals 107. And again, the news next to the story about JFK, the plane that departed from JFK that crashed on the way to Paris. Again, on this day, 17/7, when the Jesuit Orders 177, they were created in Paris, August 15th, 1534. And the Jesuit Orders 177 and JFK died 177 days after his birthday. And then D.C. is Jesuit independent city-state. Again, there's 3 independent Jesuit city-states in the world, and that's what they are. There's 3 independent city-states in the world, but they're all Jesuit-controlled. One is the Vatican. Another is the Central District of London, the banking district, its own private corporation. And the other is Washington, D.C. And that's why there's 3 stars on the D.C. flag representing the 3 city-states. And just look at D.C. All the Roman architecture, the Roman fasces, the base word of fascism. Who coined the term fascism? Mussolini, the Italian. And, yeah, and in the Ignatian year, Italy's winning the European tournament. First time since 53. Then you got a Gucci-related killing on the anniversary of the Versace death. These Italian designers. I mean, it's just obvious. It's all Jesuit shit, man. Just talking about that the other day. You know what? Should we do a real decode on this plane crash? Should we do it? We can look more at it. And they got to do it 25 years ago. Death is 25. Is this the plane that was? Is this the plane that people were saying like it looked like a missile? Hold on. I can't remember, man. Maybe that's the one they're saying. We're gonna go back and look at this more. Before 9/11, there was a story about a plane that crashed right after taking off, and a lot of people thought they saw some streak of light come up, and then the news was saying, "Oh, all these people are just seeing things, Nothing happened. It just." I can't remember even which plane this is, but there's just been so many damn plane stories. Remember the missing plane story? I mean, what a mindfuck story that was. Come on. It's always fucking with us, man. But yeah, these people, man, they don't... Oh, the way they do it. It is something else. Here's how they knew the shooting happened. Attention fans, please remain inside the stadium at this time. And again, just realize who owns these teams. The same people that own this nation, that are part of this Jesuit cabal, man. These people make money off us at every angle. They got us drinking their beers, their sodas, their hot dogs, buying their cars, going to their games. And again, look how much they charge for their entertainment, you guys. You ever think about that? Like, you can get an amazing book in a used bookstore for a few dollars. Just like an amazing piece of knowledge. That's the value of it, a few dollars. Your money actually feels like it's going somewhere if you read books. And then, what if you want to go to a really good concert, man? That might cost several $100s. That could cost you $1,000. The value of entertainment is like hundreds of times greater than great knowledge. Tells you everything you really need to know about our society. So... how many people that maybe like somebody tried to show us to their friend and like, this is fucking stupid, man. Let's go back and play that game. Let's watch that movie. Let's watch some more of that show. Like, really? You just came to a conclusion that was stupid? You just want to go back and watch the show? What, you want to watch some more NBA? I wish I didn't even see the last 2 minutes of the NBA. I've seen all of like 7 minutes of the NBA playoffs. I saw the last 2 minutes of today's game, and I just wish I didn't see any of it. It looked like a football match for a second. No fouls anywhere. Just bam, collisions, no fouls. I'm just like, wow, refs tucked in their whistle. And then at the end of the game, Suns, just a heartbreaker for the Suns home crowd. Devin Booker, overpaid asshole like the rest of these athletes, drives into the middle of the key, picks up his dribble, and then gets the ball taken from him. It's like every star player's favorite way to cough up the game, and it's just like, who the fuck would ever do that? A pro basketball player? You don't pick up your dribble unless you need to, and you don't drive into the pack of the middle of the guys with just the thought that you're just going to come to a stop, and then... It's just... I hate watching pro basketball, but the point is, after that, he turns it over, and then... it's a fast break for Milwaukee. Throw the oop to Giannis, and he dunks it down to give him a 3-point lead after the Suns just had the chance to take the lead and blew it. And there's no foul on the alley-oop, but then the ref blows the whistle for the and one. It's like, okay, now they have a chance to put the game totally away because there's like no time left in the game. They needed that. If they go down 4, there's no time to come back. 3, you got a chance to tie it up with a 3. Go down 4, it's over. But then, better than that, then he misses the free throw and they get their own rebound. And then it's pathetic. It's just how often these teams can't rebound in the most important situations at the free throw line, too. It's such, and sometimes if you're paying attention, you'll be like, wait a minute, why'd they put him down there? And then you're like, no wonder they didn't get the rebound. How's he going to box out that? But it's just, you guys, they know that people aren't even paying attention. They know they don't understand these games. They can't play them. They just know how to watch them, and they like the athleticism, and that's why they get away with the bullshit that they do. Look how stupid baseball is. My dad finally gave up on sports because he just sees how dumb baseball's gotten. Nobody knows how to hit anymore. You play these crazy shifts. You mean when they're leaving you a third of the field wide open, you can't just place the ball over there as a major league hitter? I mean, get the fuck out of here, man. I could do that as a third grader. It's just... all this stuff, man, it's straight mockery. It's for the idiocracy. And, next month, the 8th month of the year, it's going to be 8 years straight of talking about this shit. And I am sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of it because I just realized, like, people are never going to grasp it because they don't want to. They're too intellectually lazy. They're too... I don't know, man. I guess, yeah. Too many wrong things, I guess. Hold on, before we get out of here though, let's go back and look at this plane crash they had to bring up today. So we know what happened. Okay, we know what happened 25 years ago, right? Death is 25. Okay? That's one thing. Reminding us about this deadly incident 25 years ago. The word time is also 25. Here, just another 25 for you that I just want to make a point about. You see how Vatican is... You see the Gematria Vatican? Look at it. 70, 119... You see Pope Francis, 70, 119, 47, just like Vatican. And with regards to Francis being 47, so is France, where the Jesuits were created. Paris, France, where a lot of the founders of this nation studied. Remember when Trump was saying, I've done more in 47 months than Biden's done in 47 years? Again, Trump in 2016 was at the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the rigged election for him. Announced as the winner on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Just straight up mockery, man. But remember, Biden was the 47th vice president, and he took office with Obama when he was 47. And again, in Gematria, just look at this. With the most pure cipher, President's 47. That Nicolas Cage series, National Treasure, and National Treasure 2, he has to kidnap the president to save him. And the president realizes he likes him, and then he tells him to check out this book. And then he looks at him and he says, go to page 47. Go to page 47. And that movie's about the Masons. And, the Masons in D.C. laid the cornerstone for D.C. on September 18th, 1793, date with 47 numerology. And the Masons have the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation. Foundation equals 47. The nation's birthday is the 4th day of the 7th month, the foundation. Somebody's like, you're cheating. It's 7-4 how we write it. Yeah, you're right. Holiday is 74. Independence Day is 74. So, yeah, I was cheating. You're right. It is 74. But most of the world writes it 4-7, so it works both ways. See how Independence Day is also 277, the 59th prime, like Freemasonry's 59, and this nation was established 59 years after modern Freemasonry began in 1717. And 59 is the 17th prime, and Mason equals 17. And this year on Freemasonry's birthday, June 24th, the building collapsed in Miami in a story that doesn't make any sense. A building collapsed on their birthday. Come on, man. But coming back to that 47 list, President's 47, White House, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules and numerology, is 47, government's 47, authority is 47, Republican is 47, they came out of the Whig Party's 47, Democrats 47, DC, the letters, is 47 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. I mean, look how clever all that is. What if they called it the DOC? It wouldn't work out, right? The District of Columbia. No, they got called DC. They got to put that 47 on it. So, and again, I mean, you guys, the way they do shit. Game 5 of the playoffs. Again, understand the Jesuits are controlling everything from the Oval Office to the NBA playoffs. They are. Okay, if you think I'm wrong about that, you're wrong. I can prove you wrong all day. You can't prove me wrong. You don't have any evidence. All you have is your bullshit opinion based on nothing. I got 8 years of research and stacks on stacks of correct predictions from understanding this knowledge. That's proof that this works. How many times we've nailed everything from what's going to happen in the news to what's going to happen to Bitcoin, stock market, sports, election, what's going to be in the news on this day, and just documenting the same cycles and the same patterns. Essentially, you could say this national shooting is another correct prediction because I said, just watch. This is what they do on Saturdays. You just keep watching. On Saturdays, these are just going to keep piling up. The same use of the same numbers over and over. But here, let's look. Let's see if CNN switched up their front page. Okay, so this is the current CNN front page. Fauci, Jesuit Fauci. Here, you want a good baseball ritual? Remember, Fauci equals 95. Garrett Cole was signed by the Yankees on his 95th day of his age. And in Garrett Cole's first start with the Garrett Cole was signed by the Yankees on the 95th day of his age, and his first start with the Yankees, he got his 95th career win in the game where Fauci threw out the first pitch where he was made fun of. And again, the Jesuits created to counter the 95 Theses. Martin Luther King Jr. dead on the 95th day of the year, April 4th, 68, 3 days before the establishment of the Club of Rome on 4/7, April 7th, or 7/4. And Roman is 74, and Holy Roman Empire has very interesting gematria. The 218 is interesting. They say the Holy Roman Empire ended August 6th, 1806, the 218th day of the year. Remember all the 218 rituals they did with Jesuit Trump? I know Zenith of the Alpha does. Trump equals 88. Holy Roman Empire is 187, like Society of Jesus in Washington, D.C. Jesus, cross, gospel, parables, Messiah, Jewish, they're all 74. Jewish is 74 and 88. You know, the Jesuits, half Jewish, half Catholic. Martin Luther wrote 2 things warning about 2 religious groups. He wrote the 95 Theses, writing about the Catholic Church, and then he wrote another title that probably get taken down for hate speech these days. You can't even talk about history, but, and again, I'm not saying that this is true about, I don't have anything against Catholic people or Jewish people, unless they're part of this cabal that's fucking us over, which isn't everybody, it's a small minority in those groups. But his other book is called The Jews and Their Lies, Martin Luther. And who are the Jesuits? They're Catholic and Jewish. And just to understand, if you write out Jewish mysticism, it is 201, right? There's a lot more to all those numbers up there, but the 201, the Jesuit order, is got the 201 in it. The founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, who many people contend was also a Jew who converted to Catholicism. I don't know if that's true. Several of them are in the history books, but I can't find anywhere for Ignatius of Loyola that it's written that he was Jewish who converted, but he might have been. But Ignatius of Loyola is 201, the founder of the Jesuits. And the first Jesuit pope is Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. And he's the first ever to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. Look it up. It's called the Domus Sanctae Martyr, where he lives in Suite 201. He's the first ever pope to live there. It's supposedly a sign of what a humble man he is. 201, and Event 201 was the coronavirus outbreak simulation right before the outbreak in Wuhan, China, October 18, 2019. Done the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China, which were created by the Jesuits in 95, and they began in Rome. Talk about all roads lead to Rome. But we're also coming up on the anniversary of the moon landing. Neil Alden Armstrong, 201. The moon landing on July 20th, the 201st day of the year. And remember, in the 16th century, heliocentrism became that's the beginning of the discovery of the heliocentric model, which is now the mainstream consensus. But in the 16th century is when the Jesuits came to be, and shortly after them came heliocentrism, English standardized as a 26-letter alphabet, and the Gregorian calendar. And all these things are perfectly synced up, right? They're all perfectly connected. So it's clear to me that they created a way to tell time and a language of the time. Have you ever looked at the Georgia Guidestones and what's written on them? You should look that up. The Georgia Guidestones, something most Americans don't know about. Look at what's on there. You know, calling for the world to be united under a new living language. You think that's English? I think it is. I think what's etched out on the Georgia Guidestones is something that was probably written long ago. And then it was put there on March 22nd, 1980. And not by accident. It's another big one. 322, the number of skull and bones, who get their symbolism from the Knights Templar who served the Catholic Church, and the Jesuits have the Templar cross in their logo. By the way, I never watch UFC, but we turned on the TV. This was last weekend. This is last Saturday. We turned on the TV, and UFC was on because the channel was left on ESPN. So when we turned it on, UFC fight was on. These like preliminary free fights, not the pay-per-view fights. But we turn it on, and there's this fight about to get off, and this one guy comes out, this little guy, and he's flexing, and there's this Templar cross in his banner. He's just got Templar cross all over his banner. And I was like, okay, I don't even know who this guy is, but he's about to win right here. So what was funny, though, is his opponent was a lot older, and his opponent, the way he fought, I never seen anybody fight like this. It's like, what kind of fucking fighting style is this? The guy kept, doing rolls on the mat and trying to grab him with his legs. And I was like, this is not going to end well, man. I was like, what kind of fight? Your fighting style is to roll and try to grab him with your legs? I mean, it just leaves you vulnerable. And finally, there was one where he just rolled, and he was good at what he was doing, but it was like, this is not going to work, man. And just finally, the roll wasn't right, and the guy was just waiting for him, and he just came because, the guy's already on his back. When he rolls, he ends up on his back with, like, his legs up in the... But anyway, it was vicious what happened to him, man. And that's why I don't like UFC too. It's just, and part of that just feels like it's script because, like, who the fuck would ever want to fight like this? You can see what's coming a mile away. And he's fighting Mr. Templar Cross, but there was one of his rolls where it just didn't come up quite right. He didn't have his legs to interfere with the other guy, and the guy's just waiting, and he just, I mean, because imagine throwing a hard punch while also throwing your body weight towards the ground because the guy's already down on the ground. And it was over, just one blow. I mean, and you could just see that guy's body was limp after that hit. And anybody would be, man. You got a guy, a trained fighter, who's able to launch his body towards the ground with his punch as well while you're already on your back against the mat. I mean, I was like, come on, what kind of fight is this? And they were talking about how the guy at the Templar Crosses is undefeated, and I've never seen him fight before. I can't remember what his damn name is. But I said to Sweet Lady, I was like, no wonder the guy's fucking undefeated. Let's see his other fights. Who can win these matches? Some asshole just rolling around and trying to grab you like he's a crab, like his feet are pinchers. It was like a whack-a-mole. You were just waiting until his face was just right so you could just blow it open. But yeah, the UFC, man, it's brutal and it's violent and it's nasty. And I always tell the story when I lived down in Seattle, Key Arena. You know, all the years I lived down there from 2006 to the very start of 2012. There was only a UFC fight one time, and I'll never forget the night the UFC fight was down there. You just never seen the area like that. It was just crazy. People were out fighting each other, breaking windows, smashing cars, and yeah, I even had to threaten to call the police on a guy because he was just beating the shit out of another guy. I didn't know either of them, but he's just beating the shit out of him right on the corner where I lived. And I didn't want to mess with the guy. He was a lot bigger than me. And plus he was with a group of other guys. And I don't, you know, I'm not one to call the police, but it was just, yeah, it was like, look at this shit, man. This is mayhem. One night of UFC and the fucking neighborhood's just like on fire. God. I used to live in Lower Queen Anne, you know, like by Roy and Mercer. And it was just nuts that night. I was like, man, look at what UFC does. And that's what this is all about, you guys. All of this stuff has an effect on us. And I mean, I can tell you about it right now. I'm stressed out, man. There's just they've created so much extra stress in the world. Sweet Lady's all stressed out because all the shit going on in her country. She's in Burma, where with the Jesuit overthrow over there. Jesuits are the New World Order, you guys. That's why the Jesuit order equals New World Order equals propaganda. Look at it. The Jesuit order. New World Order. How many presidents need to say that phrase? Propaganda. New York Times. The New York Times has always been controlled by Jesuits. Paper that prints nothing but bullshit, man. Okay, let's see this story here. Exactly 25 years ago, a flight to Paris on a very Jesuit date. You know, that's not the way they're going to cover it. That's the way they should cover it. Let's see. Let's read the news. 96. Let's think about how old I was. I was 13. I was 4 days. No. I was 12 years old. I was 4 days from turning 13 years old. I was born July 21st, 83. So, I was 12 years old. That was a better time. I liked being 12, man. I remember 12. 12 was good. 12 was good. A private memorial service for the families of the victims of the 1996 TWA Flight 800 explosion is being held on Saturday, 25 years after the disaster that killed 230 people. And I don't know every number. I bet you there's something to that 230 they report. I don't know what it is, though. I bet Neo the hacker can figure it out. After the disaster that killed 230 people and just before the federal government begins destroying the reconstructed wreckage of the ill-fated aircraft. That's what they like to do, get rid of the evidence by the numbers. The service will take place on Long Island, New York, more than 260 miles from the 30,000 square foot hangar at the National Transportation Safety Board's training center in Ashburn, Virginia. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The Paris-bound plane exploded minutes after taking off from New York's John F. Kennedy. Is this the one where people saw the light go up? This might have been when it was. I was more interested in playing sports, but I remember this was one of the weirder stories. I think whatever that plane, if this is the plane in New York where people were saying they said something fly up it, that was one of the weirder news stories. That the Oklahoma City bombing, major Jesuit ritual. Let's check it out. Timothy McVeigh. What's his name equal? His name equal 201. Don't forget the brother of the governor of Oklahoma at the time. He wrote the book The Final Jihad before any of this happened, and he had a book. Timothy McVeigh's 177 and 201. Just like the Jesuit order, same ciphers. 177, 201. Last year, Captain Tom got knighted on this day, July 17th, and then he died 201 days later. He was known for the Burma campaign. He died one day after Burma was overthrown by its military when the Jesuits are a military order. Just so many rituals like this. Catherine the Great, her husband dies on 17/7. She ends up defying the Pope and protecting the 201 Jesuits. That's in their own history. 177, 201. But, yeah, Timothy McVeigh, the brother of the governor of Oklahoma, wrote the book The Final Jihad, and there's a character named Tom McVeigh who packs a moving truck with explosives and blows up the same building in the book. And that's the same story. Timothy McVeigh supposedly packed a moving truck with explosives and blew a crater in the building. That looked a lot like what just happened in Miami. Maybe it was Timothy McVeigh. Okay. There's so much more to this. Everything just makes me want to talk more and more about other things, but here, let's figure this out. So TWA 800 was the flight. Is that what it is? TWA 800. I think this is it. 12 minutes after takeoff. Yeah, speculation. That's right. There was just so much speculation. Terrorists, all this stuff. This was clearly preparation for 9/11. Just more mindfuckery. All Jesuits. All ritual. This is the one. And people said they saw a flash. And yeah. The 4-year NTSB investigation concluded with the approval of the aircraft accident report on August 23rd, 2000. That was a date with 51 numerology, Federal 51, Conspiracy 51, Rome 51. What else is about August 23rd? It's Kobe Bryant's birthday. It's the day leaving 130 days left in the year. Washington 130. Federal investigation. Fitting day for a federal investigation to end. And you know, when you think about it, that was a little more than a year before 9/11, right? People are bastards, man. You know, I'll always have this memory. When there was a day I came home from school. My sister's 12 years older than me, and I came home when I was in kindergarten. And, you know, they're in high school, so they get out of school earlier. At least that's the way it was where we were. High school get out before, you know, middle school, before elementary school. And when I got home, her and her boyfriend, they had a Nintendo. We'd never had a Nintendo in our house. And they were playing they were playing Tecmo Bowl, playing football game on the Nintendo. And it wasn't that day, but it was like days later. I got to play it with my dad, right? And I was playing it with my dad, and my dad took the lead in the football game. And I just heard the phrase before, but I didn't know what it meant, right? I just heard it. And it's just like I didn't realize what I said, right? But my dad took the lead, and I called him a bastard. I said, "You bastard." And my dad looked at me like he was shocked. But he didn't get mad at me like he does when he'd get mad at me when I screwed up as a kid and told me not to do that. My dad would always threaten with his belt, but I don't think he ever used it. But when I said, "You bastard," he just had this like look on his face, like of total confusion. And I didn't know what bastard meant, right? It was just like a phrase I heard people say when they're mad or like mad at somebody. And I guess I was being a poor sport as a loser. My dad took the lead in the video game. But I said, "You bastard." And then technically what I didn't realize is my dad's a bastard, right? Because he never had a dad. So I realized in the moment, like, it messed with my dad's head. And he was like, what the hell? Why is my 5-year-old calling me a bastard? And it was just something I'd heard, right? I didn't even know what it meant. It just came out of my mouth. And then it also just makes you wonder, too. It's also possible that, like, God, maybe I don't even know. Maybe, like, I was a baby. I was a 2-year-old or something, and somebody was calling my dad a bastard, and I didn't know what it meant, but I just heard somebody else calling, and then I get mad at him as a 5-year-old playing a video game. But, yeah, if this isn't, what's the abbreviation? TMI? Too much information? I don't think it's TMI. Okay. When I was a little kid, I know we had moved from Portland. So we moved from Portland when I just turned 7. We moved at like right about this time. It was July 1990. We moved across the river. We moved out of our neighborhood in Portland that wasn't the best place and moved to a little bit better area. But we just moved to the new house. But I was taking a bath, right, as a kid. Maybe it is TMI, but I'm telling these stories because I just remember my dad's face as a child because I just never seen him do face expressions like that. And it's just funny how when you're a child you might say something to an adult and like you don't get it as a kid, but the face expression stays with you forever because you knew you did something. You're like, was I not supposed to say that? But anyway, after I was done taking my bath, I went down to my dad and I explained to him that like, if your dick ever gets hard, just run some cold water on it and it'll just go right down. Because that's what I'd figured. For some reason, I was a little kid. It's like I didn't have any concept really of sex or masturbation. I don't think I did at that age, just barely 7. But it was right around this time that we just moved to the house. But I went down and explained this, and I didn't say dick. I probably said, Dad, if your penis gets hard, just run cold water on it and it'll fix the problem. But my dad just looked at me like, what? Just like he didn't even have words, just like this look. And I didn't know what I'd said, but I knew I wasn't going to tell him that again. And then I was like, is it wrong? Well, at least I know the solution with the cold water. But, yeah, man. Anyway, those are better times. Being a child, not knowing what a fucked up place you live in, man. And it's gotten a lot worse. I mean, it was a lot better when I was a child than it is now. So, I'll tell you what, by the time the TW8 Flight 800 thing had happened, I would have known not to say that to my dad. I would have just been like, oh, I'm going to keep that one to myself. Okay. Yeah, but this was a long time ago. I do remember, though, yeah. All sorts of conspiracy theories out there about this. And you realize it was it's what they do. I've never looked from the date this happened. You see how it's the day leaving 167 days left in the year too? The 39th prime number in New York. That's the big number in New York. Everything in New York's 39. New York in the most pure cipher is 39, like Empire's the Empire State. With the most simple cipher, NY is 39. If you run it in reverse, NYC is 39. If you write out New York, NY, like you'd write it on an envelope, it's 39. All this stuff is 39. And the United Nations there is 39 floors tall. Just there's so much stuff with New York in 39 that we documented. The first governor, George Clinton, has the same birthday as New York, born in 1739. George is 39. Clinton's 39. I mean, and just there's a million New York 39 things. But 167 days left in the year, 39th prime, New York plane goes down. And what's the other big New York number? Again, the two numbers we've always talked about with New York. The two numbers we've always talked about from New York. When I first started, I only knew these two ciphers. New York 111. September 11th happened on the day leaving 111 days left in the year. This flight thing happened on the day leaving 167 days left in the year. If I'm doing my math correct, does that mean there's 56 days between July 17th and September 11th? I think I'm doing my math correctly. Let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I think I'm getting dumber. Oh. We've had a lot of smoke out here again. We've had fires and stuff. I'm sure it's going to get worse as summer goes on. Let's see. Just the anniversary of it. So from July 17th to September 11th. Jeez, come on, man. These are anniversaries of flight tragedies in New York. And yes, they are 56 days apart. Of course they are. Of course they are. and the most pure cipher, Society of Jesus 56. Like that little Jesuit punk Anthony Fauci's 56, with his coronavirus that he can shove up his ass 56, with the toilet paper to wipe your ass 56, with the mind control 56, with the Washington, D.C., 56, again, Paris, France, where the Jesuits are from, 56, and the list goes on. The 56th governor of New York right now, Cuomo, his brother's name, Chris Cuomo, 56 on CNN. The other Jesuit pawn in the other big city in America, Gavin Newsom, 56, who said 56% of California will get coronavirus in 8 weeks as he locked down the state, and 8 weeks is 56 days. Amazon took over the world while Bezos was 56, and then they put yearly departed out at the end of 2020, where they said the year was so shitty it felt like it was 56 months long. Yeah. And, if you guys think this work's important and you want to wake people up to it, I explain it way more clearly than I did tonight in my book. If you can't afford a book, I made it free to download. It's on my Patreon page. You can also get the ebook version, which is inexpensive. The ebook version is the free download as well. So, you can download it for free. If you want the physical copy, just search Number Games, Zachary Hubbard. That's me. Watch this. I'll show you how simple it is. You guys, for all of you guys who ask me where to get the book, the reason it's kind of frustrating is because it's the fucking internet age and it's 2021 and you don't have an idea how to even try to find my book. Doing a web search. What would happen? You're oh, his channel's GematriaEffectNews. What happens if I type that in? GematriaEffectNews. Let me see. Maybe I can find his book. Oh, he's got a website. Maybe the book's there. Oh, shit. Order new book? Damn. It's just why? Why don't people know how to do the most basic shit? Yeah, but anyway, you don't have to buy it from the behemoth either. They do sell it. I see they added a new rating. It had been a minute. Hey, by the way, Asif, I said I was going to open up your letter. I have not opened up your letter, Asif. I decided I'm going to open up your letter on my birthday because I think the people who send me mail and P.O. boxes will probably be my birthday presents. Reading the letters. I think I'll do it on my birthday. I'll see what the latest mail is. I don't get that much mail, but I'm excited to see what's in Asif's letter. It's weird. Asif sent me a letter earlier this year that got shredded by the post office. But and he sent another one since. Thank you, Asif. But I'm going to save this one for my birthday. So it's almost here. Okay. Well, they didn't write much. They said excellent and must read. Oh, huh. Well, it says there before it was on 384. It's on 385. I thought there'd be a new write-up, but I guess it's not a new write-up. But yeah, man, my book is, it's way more convincing than the video I made tonight. And the video I made tonight should be enough to make anyone go, okay, maybe I need to look into this. Maybe I need to look into this. Maybe there really is something wrong. Maybe we are being lied to. Maybe there is an attempt to mind control us. Maybe they are ritualistic. Maybe they are Kabbalistic. Maybe they are using the same knowledge that the ancients and our ancestors used who were in power. Yeah. By the way, they started out by saying 4 people were shot, and then they retracted that and said it was 3. They went from 4 to 3 in D.C. D the 4th letter, C the 3rd, right? Against San Diego. They got the fathers in town. San Diego's got that 43 in their gematria. And, D.C. is known as the Masonic City. Masonic's got that 43 in it. Masonic's also 115. The Nationals won the 115th World Series. Yeah. So anyway, I think we'll leave it there, you guys. It's getting late. Time for me to... Oh, hold on. With regards to baseball, it never ends. Free money yesterday with the Red Sox Yankees game. Red Sox got their 56th win of the season and became 7-0 versus the Yankees. I mean, come on, how many more of these 56 rituals are they going to 56, 70 rituals are they going to do with coronavirus? I got several of them documented in the book. Since my book came out, there's been several more. They keep doing it. 56, 70. A day after the Yankees get the coronavirus outbreak, the Red Sox get the 56th win and become 7-0 versus the Yankees. You see coronavirus 56, 70. COVID vaccine 56, 70. They've done this with so many different types of rituals in the time of the pandemic. So, and just remember, with Gematria, don't use it on Saturdays in sports. There's something wrong with Saturday. Works great on most days of the week. Sometimes it works on Saturday, but there's something very wrong with Saturday. I think it's because Saturday is the day of the most gambling, and I think there's so much money on certain teams that even if they do have a game scripted a certain way in a series, they're like, forget it. We'll flip it today and tomorrow. We can't let all this money go. Oh no. Yeah, something's wrong with Gematria and Saturdays in sports. It's been that way for a long time, except for when it comes to college football. Not when it comes to there's a great day to use Gematria. College football, you wouldn't believe how perfectly scripted the games are, Saturday after Saturday. So. Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there, you guys. And appreciate everyone who shares this video. Go subscribe to all the other people in the community adding to the content. A lot of good people in the chat. A lot of the moderators have their own YouTube channels. Almost all of my moderators have YouTube channels. Not all, but almost all of them. And that's why a lot of them are my moderators, because they're also content creators. But Neo the hacker, he's newer to the community, and he's really good at decoding. And now he started making YouTube videos too. So, and Rambo, that's the one thing. Rambo for so long has not made a YouTube channel and just started putting out videos. I don't know why he doesn't do it. The world needs it. But Neo the hacker, I appreciate that. I appreciate the work he's putting in. Oh, and by the way, again, watch the Biz Markie. Isn't it funny that in my video yesterday on Biz Markie's death, I hadn't even watched the video, right? I hadn't watched the Just a Friend music video. And, but I brought up Georgetown in 57 in it. I brought up Georgetown in 57. Georgetown's 57 in the most pure cipher. See, this is the thing that's amazing about. Could you believe that Georgetown and Jesuit could have the same gematria and the same cipher? I mean, doesn't it seem impossible? Jesuit's such a short word, and Georgetown is such a long word. But Georgetown is 42 when you're on the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology, and so is Jesuit. And, big number. But in the most pure cipher, Georgetown's 57, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. And Neo the hacker, did you catch that about Georgetown and 141? Because I saw your video on the point you made about 141. I don't know if you connected it with Georgetown. You connected it with rap, which was interesting. But anyway, Biz Markie in the Just a Friend music video, he's wearing a Georgetown sweatshirt. Back then, the Georgetown Hoyas were the basketball team in college. But he died at 57. And we've seen a lot of entertainers go at 57. Prince, and then the year after him, Charlie Murphy, who did the skits with Prince, or Dave Chappelle, about Prince. But a lot of entertainer deaths at 57. And Biz Markie joins the club. But did you know that he had a Georgetown sweatshirt? And again, Georgetown was established in 1789, the year George Washington turned age 57. And remember, George is 57 in the most simple cipher. Like Gemini, you had the George Floyd killing in Gemini. That's another topic. But George and Georgetown, 57. George Washington turned 57 the same year Georgetown was established, 1789. And again, that's the first Jesuit university in the nation. Also in that cipher, Scottish Rite's 57, and that's who's in D.C., the Jesuits and the Scottish Rite. And modern Freemasonry was created in 1717 in the Jesuit stronghold, the city of London. And the 32nd degree, the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite. If you write out Scottish in the most pure cipher, it's 32 like America. America's 32, Scottish 32. The 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite shares the Ad Merum Dei Gloriam motto with the Jesuits, whose logo is a sun with 32 sun rays on it. Last year, the Dodgers won the World Series in the big Jesuit ritual 32 years after the last World Series over the Rays. You know, and it was synced up with America's game. America 32, NFL 32 with its 32 teams and Brady in the Super Bowl, you know. All the Tampa last year. All the 116 rituals. Tampa, Florida 116, 116th World Series. Tom Brady's full name, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., 116 in the most pure. You know, he goes down to Tampa the year of the 116th World Series. Tampa just starts winning everything. I mean, yeah, anyway, it's all Jesuits. It's all mockery. Oh, and with regards to the 7-0 against the Yankees, you know, New York Yankees got that 70 in it too. Also 191, 187, just like Society of Jesus, which is why they did the big Jesuit ritual with them and Garrett Cole and Anthony Fauci to start the coronavirus season last year. Hockey had the 56-game coronavirus season this year. The surprise team, Montreal. The Canadiens, who got the 56. You know, right now the NBA Finals is a massive 56 ritual. The two 56 teams, Bucks 56, Phoenix Suns 56. Chris Paul, born May 6th, goes to the Suns, gets COVID. His team's in the finals. Anyway, we'll leave it there, you guys. Until next time.